There's a man who hasn't checked a phone in 6 years. Not because he lost it. Not because he's off the grid for a podcast episode. Because there's never been one to check. 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. While your phone is still buzzing with notifications you'll ignore, a man named Numan is going to wake up in the dark, walk barefoot across frozen stone, and start a day that hasn't changed in over 100 years. No alarm, no coffee maker, no group chat. Just mountains, mud walls, and a rhythm of life older than the country lines drawn around it. Here's the thing that's going to mess with your head. By the time most of us are still deciding whether to get out of bed, Numan's already prayed, already fed the animals, and already got half a village depending on him. Before sunrise even breaks. This isn't a reenactment, this isn't a movie set, this is Tuesday. In a village tucked so deep into Pashtun mountain country that Google Maps barely knows it exists. So stick around, because in the next few minutes, you're going to look at your own morning routine and feel a little bit called out. This is a day in the life of Numan. Tomorrow morning, before the first light reaches these mountains, before most of the world is even awake, Numan's day has already begun. 5 o'clock, pitch black, cold enough that you can see your breath. The second you step outside, and Numan's already moving. There's no snooze button in this village. Never has been. The call to prayer rolls off the mountainside, like it's been doing for 1,000 years, and that's the only alarm clock anybody's ever needed. Numan heads for the mosque, bare feet on stone that feels like ice. Breath fogging in front of him. This is Fajr, the dawn prayer. And here's what makes it different from anything back home. This isn't just a religious box to check. It's the anchor the entire day gets built around. Every chore, every conversation, every meal that happens for the next 18 hours, it all orbits this one moment. But here's the twist most people miss. While the men are walking to the mosque in the dark, the women of the household are already up. And they've been up longer, fire's getting lit, dough's getting kneaded, water's already boiling. By the time Numan gets back, an entire operation has been running without him. And as the village slowly comes to life, the first meal of the day is finally ready. Numan walks back into the house, and the smell hits before anything else. Fresh bread. Straight off the fire. No cereal box, no granola bar wrapper. Every single thing on this table was made by hand this morning from scratch. But here's where it gets good. This isn't eat fast and go, this is story time. And it might be the most important 20 minutes of the entire day. Numan sits down with whichever kids are around. Nephews, sons, doesn't matter. And this is when the real education happens. Old proverbs, stories about his own father, lessons about respect, about hard work, about how you're supposed to treat the man next door. No textbook wrote any of this down. No app is going to teach it either. This right here, this is how an entire culture stays alive for centuries, without a single word of it ever hitting paper. It survives because a kid sat at a table one morning and actually listened. Matcha, but breakfast doesn't end the work. It only marks the beginning of it. Breakfast's done. Now Numan's out checking the animals. Goats, maybe a cow, some chickens. Forget the word farm. These animals are the family's bank account. Milk, eggs, meat, wool. This is the paycheck out here, except it bleeds. And it needs feeding twice a day, whether the family's rich or broke that season. Numan checks the pens, looks for anything sick, anything that got into trouble overnight. But here's the part almost nobody shows you. While Numan's handling the animals from the outside, the women are doing the physically brutal part. Milking, squatting at sunrise, hands working in a rhythm that's been identical for hundreds of years. No machines, no stainless steel, just hands, a bucket, and a kind of patience most of us have never had to practice. And that milk doesn't sit around. Within the hour, it's already becoming butter, yogurt, the same cream that just showed up on your breakfast table. Nothing here gets wasted. Nothing here gets the chance to. And while Numan finishes the morning chores outside, another day of work has already been unfolding inside the house. Now let's slow down, because this is the part of village life that almost never makes it into a documentary. While the men are out doing the visible work, animals, crops, walking around with a purpose, the women are running an entire operation inside. That keeps every single person in that house alive. Grinding grain by hand, kneading dough for the next meal, before this one's even finished. Hauling water from a well or a stream, because there's no tap to turn. Sweeping mud floors, keeping a toddler out of the fire pit, while doing all of it at once. No dishwasher, no washing machine, no 20-minute delivery app, bailing anyone out. Every meal in this house starts from raw ingredients, hours before a single person sits down to eat. Here's the uncomfortable truth this segment exists to tell you. None of the rest of the day happens without this. Not the meals, not the hospitality, not the hujra gathering you're about to see. The entire village runs through the women's hands first, every single day, with zero recognition and 0 days off. By the time the morning's work is behind them, the village begins to gather, not in a town square, not in a cafe, but somewhere far more important. Noon, lunch is simple. Bread, maybe lentils, whatever the season's giving up. And after lunch, Numan does something that genuinely doesn't have a clean American translation. He goes to the hujra. Picture a community center, crossed with a men's lounge, crossed with a town hall, except there's no agenda. No scheduled start time, no minutes taken. It's just the place where the men of the village show up and talk. Harvest reports, a dispute between two families that needs settling. Before it becomes something worse. Politics, weather, whose son is getting married. No city council exists out here. No local news station. This one dirt floor room with cushions on the ground is the information network, village government, village therapy, and village entertainment, all running at once. At 1 p.m., everything just stops. Duhur prayer, right in the middle of the day. Then the conversation picks back up, exactly where it left off, like the interruption never happened. That's the part worth sitting with. Prayer isn't scheduled around life here. Life is scheduled around prayer. As the conversations come to an end, the village spreads back out across the mountains. Because there's still work to do. Before the sun disappears, around 3 p.m., Numan's out at the farm. Wheat, corn, vegetables, whatever's growing needs checking. Irrigation channels need clearing. Weeds need pulling. This isn't a hobby. This is subsistence farming. Meaning if this crop fails, as daylight slowly slips behind the mountains, the village begins to quiet down. But the day isn't over just yet. As the sun drops, the call to prayer rings out one final time. Maghrib. Back at the house, the women have been prepping since mid-afternoon. More bread, whatever meat or vegetables are on hand. That same morning milk, now turned into something completely different on the table. The whole family sits down together. No phones on the table, not because anyone made a rule about it, but because there simply aren't any. Just conversation. The day picked apart out loud. Maybe one more quick story from Numan, before the kids are sent to bed. Then, quiet. No streaming queue keeping anyone up. No blue light wrecking anyone's sleep. When the sun goes down, the entire village goes down with it. Because at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, every second of this starts right back over again. So that's the day. That's the whole thing. No commute, no inbox, no notifications. Just prayer, family, animals, farmland, and a community that still gathers in the same room to actually talk to each other. It would be easy to watch this and romanticize it, some peaceful escape from modern life, or pity it, like these people are missing out on everything the rest of us have. But it's probably neither. Maybe it's just a different way of measuring what a good day even is. One where the work is brutal and the days are long, but nobody's life revolves around a screen, and everybody in that village knows exactly where they stand with the person next to them. Exane. Numan's been living this exact routine for years. His father lived it before him, and if nothing changes, his kids will be living it too. In a world sprinting to move faster every single year, there's something almost defiant about a life that refuses to. This has been a day in the life of Numan.